Hey, what's up you guys? It's Tyler. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today, we are back with a crazy customer story time working at a pet store. I haven't done one of these videos in a long time because there's so many crazy things that happen at my job daily that I don't even remember what happens. So then when I go down to like film a story time, it's like, I already forgot. Because there's another one. Every day there's another freaking crazy customer. You know what I mean? Like, it gets to that point in retail where it's just like, I can't talk about everything all the time. And I don't want my whole channel to be pet store story times because I want to branch out, do other things. I don't want to just be making that content and just be known for that content. That's not what I want to do. But this girl had me shaking. And that doesn't happen to me super often. I'm not really good with like confrontation or like people that yell at me. It does depend obviously on like my mood and the situation, like if I'm actually scared of them. I wasn't scared of this lady. She was like my height. She wasn't gonna like kill me or anything, but God, I was so scared I was gonna get fired. For real. I thought she was gonna make a report on me. And I was going to get like called in the next day and be fired. That's why I was scared. I was like, ooh, so scared of losing my job. But here's the story. I was working, it is after Thanksgiving. It's a little bit after Thanksgiving. It's probably a couple days after Thanksgiving. So we stopped doing our Black Friday sales. We stopped doing them on Sunday, which I know is weird. Nobody's doing actually Black Friday anymore, which is kind of depressing. So we had like our Cyber Monday sales starting Monday. I'm filming this Thursday. We're still doing Cyber Monday sales. I don't know what is going on with my company, but that's what we're doing. So we have all of our hamsters like 30% off right now. We have a lot of stuff on sale right now, but that is a little bit to do with the story. Anyways, this lady calls. It's probably like 7:20. It might be like 7:15. She calls my manager. My manager's like, hey, this person is asking for you. I don't know if they asked for my name or they just wanted somebody that is like working with the animals, you know what I mean? So I pick up the phone. I was helping somebody, so it took me a couple minutes like it usually does. Don't expect somebody to come answer your phone call about animals right away because we're busy, girl. We don't have like a call center. Like, you're talking to me, okay? Calm down. Sorry. That was supposed to be a joke. It wasn't very funny though. So anyways, pick up the phone. Hello. And she's like silent. And I'm like, hello. And she's like, hello. And I'm like, do you need help with something? Do you have a question? Because I didn't know like what she was calling for. It was just like a question. So I'm like, I don't know what you need help with. Like, do you have a question? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, how can I help you? And she's like, so I was online and I saw your hamsters online, and I'm like, in my head, like, is she gonna try to buy a hamster online? Because you can't do that. Anyways, it takes her a few seconds to say what she needs help with. I'm just sitting there like, okay, like, tell me more about these hamsters online. She's like, do you have any in stock finally? And I'm like, yeah, we have a lot of them. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, I saw online there's a few different kinds I really like the dwarf hamsters, and in my head I'm like, there's a lot of dwarf hamsters. So I'm like, okay, we've got them, yeah. And she's like, I really like the chunky ones. And I'm like, oh, so like the winter whites, the Russian dwarves, like those? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we've got them. We've got different types of dwarf hamsters. We've got the winter whites, we've got the chunky ones, you know. I don't know. And then on the phone again, she's like, so I really like the short hair ones too. And I'm like, okay, well, those are Syrians. Those aren't like dwarf hamsters. They're gonna be a lot bigger, but we have those too. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I like those too. So I want to come in tonight and see all of the hamsters and all of that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, come in. Hello, join us. Come and look at all the animals. And then she's like, yeah, I'm gonna bring my 4-year-old son who has developmental issues. He has like a speech impediment. So we want to like interact with the hamsters. and see which one is right for him. We want him to like interact with the hamsters. In my head, I'm like, I love this. I love when kids can like come in and like interact with the animals, and the parents like care, and they're like, yeah, let's interact with the animals, see which one is right for him, because if it's his pet, he should want to interact with it, right? Like, obviously, he's 4 years old. He has developmental issues. He's not going to take care of the hamster himself, but he should interact with it, pick it, whichever one he wants. It's his animal, you know? It's fun for kids. I love that. So I was so excited. I'm like, yes, I will let you interact with every single hamster. I'm like so happy because it was slow at the time. It got really busy later that night, but it was slow. So I'm like, yeah, like, come in. Ask for me personally. I gave her my name. I'm like, come in. Yeah, we've got time. Like, I will show you every single hamster. You can hang out with every single hamster. I don't care. She's like, yeah, I'll be there in like 10-20 minutes. Her kid is like screaming in the car, and she's like really nice, like on the phone. She's so sweet. I'm like, girl, I'm so excited to meet this lady and her kid. I'm so excited. She's like talking nice to her kid. She's like, yeah, mama's gonna go show you a hamster. I'm like, I love this lady. I love her. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Anyways, it is like 8 p.m. now. It's been 40 minutes. We are closing at 9 p.m. So, like, at this point, I'm like, okay, is she not coming? Like, I got most of my stuff done early just in case she comes late. I'm like, I'm ready. Like, if she wants to look at all the freaking hamsters, I've got it. We're good. I'm ready. We can do this. So I see this mom and her kid in this cart, and I'm like, I don't know if this is them. They aren't looking at the hamsters. So I'm like doing my thing over in the side of pet care, you know, whatever. Eventually I get called over, and it's like, oh, this lady wants help with the hamsters. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's my lady. It's my girl. So I'm running over there. I'm like, hi. You know, I was in a good mood. So I'm like, oh, hello. Da, 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 da. Blah, 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 blah. Burning my mouth. Like, annoying. Girl, I've been in retail too long. I don't know. But anyways, I go over there. I'm like, hi. And she's like, oh, are you blank? And I'm like, yeah. So we go over to the hamsters. I'm like, yep, let's go. Come on, let's go. I'm ready. Let's go look at all the hamsters. I'm like so excited. Her kid is so cute. Her kid's so cute. I don't like kids, but when kids come in and they want to look at animals and they love animals and they're nice and they're not throwing things everywhere, I love them. Okay, I love them. So very excited. And she's like, oh, I wanna look at these ones. I want to start with these. And I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm like, this is not a Russian dwarf. It was a Chinese dwarf. So it's a dwarf hamster, but it's not a chunky hamster. It's like a skinny, long, kind of looks like a mouse, but like a hamster, you know. I don't know. But she's like set. She's like, I want to see this one. I pick it up all the way from the top. I've got joint issues. I almost like fall over. But I'm like, if you want to look at these hamsters, I promise you, I will make it happen. We're going to do it. Anyways, put this whole habitat on a cart for her and her son. They look at it. They're like looking at it. They're like, oh, she's so cute. She's so pretty. I love her. And then she's like, oh, she lets her kid, you know, put his hand in there. And she's like, oh, just pet him like gently. So he goes in there. He's a 4-year-old. He doesn't know what to do. So he's just like grabbing. You know, I'm like, oh, he's so sweet. He's so gentle. He picks up the freaking hamster by the neck. Not the neck, the back. Picks it up. Trying to like throw it. And I'm like, oh, no. Like, stop doing that, please. Don't do it. Put the hamster down. You gotta put the freaking hamster down. You gotta stop. And she's screaming. She's like, oh my God. She was on the phone the whole time, by the way. She was on the phone cursing with somebody. So I was like, what's happening? She's like recording me getting these hamsters down for her. So that was like a weird thing that went off in my head. I'm like, I don't love this. They're like they're FaceTiming somebody, filming me get the hamsters down. I don't like that. Don't film people when they're working, okay? Please don't do that. It's really weird, especially if you don't ask. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Don't. It's weird. It's creepy. It's rude. Don't do it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm doing this for the kid. I'm excited. She seemed really nice over the phone. We're doing it. She's screaming in front of her toddler. cursing in front of the toddler, and now she's hitting the toddler because the hamster is in his hand. She's like, sit your ass down, sit your fucking ass down. She's screaming in the store, and I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? Girl, I was like in love with this lady, not literally, but like I was so excited to like meet her and show her the hamsters and hang out with her kid. I was in such a good mood, and then she's slapping her child with a hamster in her hand. I'm like, girl, you're gonna make him throw this hamster. Anyways, he drops the hamster. It falls into the cage, thank God, or it would have been gone. But he had the freaking hamster by the back skin, drops him. She's terrified. She's running all over the cage like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, I just almost died. And I'm like, okay, we're not gonna do that anymore. We're just gonna pet. We're gonna pet. We're not gonna grab. We're not gonna do any of that. So she's still screaming at her kid at this point. Screaming, slapping, sit your ass down, like cursing at him, like still holding the phone and recording the child at this point. I'm just like, what is happening? What's happening? I don't know. Anyways, it calms down. The kid sits down. It's a 4-year-old. He has developmental issues. Like, what do you expect from him? Why are you hitting your child? I don't know. People, I don't get it. But I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to judge too hard. But I don't understand why you would hit a child. I don't know. But that's a me thing. We're not going to do that right now. Thanks. So, her kid's sitting down, and then she is now petting this hamster. She's like, oh my God, this hamster loves me, because it's sitting, like, under her hand. She's, like, doing this and, like, petting the hamster, you know what I mean? Like, trapping it in a corner. And she's like, oh, this hamster loves me. She's so calm now. Like, she loves me. Oh my God, my hair's a mess. Sorry if that's been happening this whole time. But, yeah. She is convinced this hamster loves her. And I'm like, okay. So she is hanging out with the hamster for a couple minutes. She's like, okay, I think I'm going to get this one, but I want to interact with the other ones. And she wants to see a short hair Syrian, which is a lot bigger than a Chinese dwarf. I'm going to try to put in pictures here so you kind of know what I'm talking about. But, yeah. She wants to see another hamster. This one's on the bottom, so it's really easy. I don't have to, like, take the whole habitat out for them to pet them, you know. So I open it up. She's like, oh my God, they're so cute. They're so fat. They're so chunky. Because Syrians are a lot bigger. They're like, this Syrian was like 6 times the size of the past hamster that they just saw. So a lot bigger. And she's like, yeah. Again, recording me as I'm opening it and like showing her the hamster. She's like, yeah, I think this is going to be like a better hamster for my kid because it's bigger, it's easier to handle. And I'm like, yeah. And then she's like on the phone like, yeah, this lady knows what I'm talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about. She's like on the phone like yelling at this person. I couldn't even hear them. So I don't know if she had headphones in. I didn't see headphones in, but I don't even know what was going on in that phone call. But screaming at the phone in the pet store. Don't do that. Again, don't do that. We're learning a lot of lessons here. Don't do that. Yeah, she's petting this hamster. She's like, I like him, yeah. But it's the smaller one. Like, the smaller one likes me. The smaller one's so much nicer. Like, I want to get that one. I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. Do you have, like, a cage set up? Do you have an aquarium? I think I didn't say cage. I said, do you have an aquarium? Because that's how I usually start. Because I don't even want them to think about a cage. Unless they have a cage in their car. Then I'm like, what are you doing? If you don't know, I'm not going to argue about hamster care. But if you don't know, hamsters do better in aquariums. I will put a picture in here of what like a hamster habitat should kind of look like. It's just going to be basic on Google. Right here. Something basic. They don't do well in cages. So I'm always like, do you have an aquarium? Do you have like a big aquarium, like a 40-gallon aquarium? Anyways, she's like, no, I don't have anything. We'd buy it here. I'm like, okay, I can show you to the aquariums. She doesn't fight me at all. She's like ready to go. I'm like, heck yeah. Like, usually people are like, no, I'm gonna get a cage, or no, I have a cage at home. No, aquariums are too expensive. But she was like, oh, let's go. And I'm like, finally we have somebody that like cares and is doing things correctly. You know what I mean? Anyways, we go over there and I'm like, oops, the 40-gallon is actually not in stock, but this is the size that I would recommend. It's on sale right now if you want to like buy it online or something. I don't know. But you could start with something like this. I say here's like a 20-gallon, or you can buy, you know, something else temporarily. You can buy a cage temporarily. It's obviously not permanent. You don't want to have that forever, but you can buy them way cheaper online, used. I say that to everybody because everybody's like, oh my god, this aquarium's like $200, you know, it's very expensive. So I tell her that, and she's like, yeah, no, honey, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna get this one. And she points at the 2.5-gallon fish tank. A 40-gallon is recommended, just for like size reference. We're talking about a 2.5-gallon fish tank, which is like the size of this headrest versus like those two headrests back there. Like that's how long the 40-gallon fish tank is. Maybe a little bit shorter, but it's like a big size difference. And I'm like, no, that's actually way too small. They cannot live in that. So what I showed you earlier, the 40-gallon, that's going to be the recommended for them. You should honestly go bigger if you can, but we do have the 20-gallon in stock. You could start with that temporarily. So you can like start with a smaller tank for right now and go up, but the 2.5-gallon is not suitable at all. So we're not doing that. And she's like, oh, no, honey, this is what I want. I'm going to get it. And I'm like, no, that's not suitable for them. So we aren't able to do that. A hamster cannot live in that. And she's like, okay, I'll get this one. And she points to the one next to it. She's like, I want the 5.5-gallon. And I'm like, okay. So again, like I said, I didn't do I'm in a mood. I'm sick. I'm aggravated again because of this story. I wasn't as bitchy to her as I'm being on this thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, girl. So, like I said, this 40-gallon is what I would recommend to start with for a hamster. But, you know, you could go with the 20-gallon. That would be okay for them temporarily. And she's like, no, you don't understand. I'm getting this. And I'm getting the hamster. And I'm like, they cannot live in that. It's not appropriate. If you really like need something for right now, you can buy the 10-gallon tank, and that's okay temporarily. And she's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm getting this tank and you're gonna get me the hamster. You cannot not give me the hamster. And I'm like, actually, I kind of can. Like, I do have the right to deny an animal sale, which I do, by the way. If you go into a pet store and you get denied an animal sale, it's for a reason. Okay? Most of the time. People don't usually risk their jobs for something stupid. So I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And she's like, yes, we are. And I'm like, okay, you're not listening to me. I didn't say that, obviously. But in my head, I'm like, girl, shut up and listen to me. So we are continuing this not very much of a conversation because she won't listen to what I'm saying. She was like, I'm getting this tank. And I'm like, okay, again, that's not suitable. But if you get a top, you can have the hamster. Like, that's fine. Just get a top for it and get the stuff for it. And she's like, no, I'm not getting a top. And I'm like, oh my god, you're not getting a top for the hamster aquarium? I'm like, okay. So, unfortunately, you do need a top for this aquarium. This 5-gallon tank is maybe a little bit shorter than this, maybe like that tall. That hamster is going to climb out. It was not a tall tank. It wasn't a wide tank. It's a small fish tank. I'm like explaining to this lady over and over again, like, this hamster is going to escape if you don't get a top for it. And she's like, no, it's going to live on my bed. I'm going to be home 24/7 watching it. It's not going to escape. And I'm like, okay, it will escape though, because you don't have a top on it. I'm saying this nicely, obviously, but I'm like, girl, hamsters climb. Like, they can escape. They're going to get out. I can't give you this hamster if you don't get a top. Like, it's so simple. Just buy a top and I will give you the hamster. Listen, I don't want to lose my job. I didn't say this, obviously, but I don't want to lose my job over this bullshit, okay? Like, just get a fucking top for this aquarium and you'll be fine. So we do that. She's again like, no, I'm not getting a top. I'm like, okay, so is this aquarium gonna go in like a cage? Like there's some sort of like fencing around it? And she's like, no, it's gonna live in my bed with me. And I'm like, okay, wait, it can't live in the bed with you. It has to have a home. And she's like, no, I don't believe in caging my animals. I let my dog free roam. My dog doesn't live in a cage. And I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. But this is a hamster. It needs to live in something with a top so it doesn't escape and die. And she's just like, no. And at this point, I'm like, okay, this isn't going anywhere. This is not working. And she's talking, she's screaming, she's cursing. She's still on FaceTime, by the way. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be back. I'll be back to help you. Because she's not listening to me. She wants to let her hamster live in this aquarium, free roaming, living in the bed with her, with a dog and a child. But apparently she works from home and will watch it 24/7, which doesn't make sense. She has a child and a dog and a job, and she's at a pet store shopping for a hamster. She's not going to be home all day. Nobody can do that. So I go get my manager, and I'm like, hey, I need you to deny this sale. We are both caught up because at this point it's like 8:30, 8:20. It's so busy. It's been really busy. It's holiday time. Like, we are slammed at nighttime. We're like helping other people while I wait for him to go talk to her. It's been like 5 minutes. She's gone. She left. She's gone. She's abandoned everything. I don't know at this point. I'm prepared for her to like call my boss's boss, and I'm gonna get fired. So that's what happened. At this point, I'm not fired, but we'll see if I go in my next shift and get fired. At this point, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Pet stores do not care about their animals, is what I have come to conclusion to by the couple times that I have denied animal sales and I've gotten in trouble for it. Girl, I'm over it. Anyways, that's my crazy customer story time. I'll see y'all next week. Next week, who knows? Follow me on Instagram though. You'll get updates. Bye-bye.